arguing for all three?
So do you want to debate, yes or no? I'm not giving you an argument if we're not debating. Do you agree to debate, yes or no, Smoothie? Do you agree to debate me, yes or no, Smoothie? It's a simple yes or no question.
This is gonna be a bad day for Smoothie. This is gonna be a horrible
Smoothie, do you agree to debate, yes or no? Do you agree to debate, yes or no? I'll give an argument if you agree to debate. Do you agree to debate, yes or no? I don't know what's so hard about answering this simple question. It's just to see if you're interested in having a debate. Glad you think that. Glad you think now. Now, do you agree to debate? Yes or no? Do you agree to debate? Yes or no? All right. So this is gonna be the 10th time I'm gonna repeat it, right? Do you agree to debate on one of these propositions? Yes or no?
Turn your mic down, pussy.
Yeah. I don't have my mic. I have AirPods. I have AirPods on. I have AirPods on.
Literally,
I have AirPods on.
Turn it down, I'll debate you.
I have AirPods on. I don't know what's going on. Calm down, dude.
Shut your little ass up, nigga.
Yeah, I'm glad you think that. So again, I'm gonna resend.
Don't make me embarrassed again.
I'm glad that I'm think that, nigga.
Yo, okay, so Smoothie, this is what we're gonna do. I'm gonna resend the propositions. Why do I need to turn my mic down? I'm not turning my mic down. I'm on computer. I don't even have APO on.
Pucci, that's my nephew. Just chill on him, bro. Just a little bit. Just tag him.
I don't even. Wait. Can you mute him really quick? Please. Hold on. Mute this nigga.
That's my little sister.
I'm gonna fucking mute him really. He's like, I don't even know why he thinks that I have AP on. This nigga's actually aping out, bro. Like, dude, I don't even have like APO on. I was trolling. I'm on my laptop with my AirPods. Now again, I'm gonna resend the propositions. Which do you disagree with? Or which do you agree with? We can have a debate on either of them right now. And if you don't want to, you can say it and I will understand. Okay? And King, you're also a bitch, by the way. You're a fucking loser. You get slammed by me. I'm gonna repeat it again, King, also. You get slammed by me. And if I am tier 9, King, you are tier 11. I just want that to be known.
Ooh, tier 9, tier 11, that's -2.
Like if this nigga says that I am tier 9, I don't know why why he thinks that's upscaling him. It's a fucking retard.
Mic up, King. Come get bitch. Okay.
Yeah, I don't know who like that is, but I can't take you seriously. Just
that was wild.
You get killed the VC, nigga.
Hey, King.
But look, so Smoothie, are you debating Pucci or no?
If he turn his mic down, sure.
What the fuck? What do you want me to turn down, nigga? I'm on my fucking laptop.
Hold on. I'm gonna tell you how it was last time. Your mic was low as shit. It wasn't that low.
Cause I was on my phone.
Okay, then go back on your phone.
I'm not going to my phone.
Okay, then shut your bald ass up.
Nigga, what the fuck is this nigga talking about? Like, is this guy scared? Wait, we can do this. Wait, we can do this. Every time you speak, I will deadass just mute myself.
Your big bald ass.
Okay. So instead of actually, saying that yes, I would debate you, you're just insulting to the intro.
I can look. How about you just debate every time Pucci speaks, he mutes himself like he said, man.
I can do that. I'm unironically down for that.
Yeah, we can do that. If he mutes himself every time that I speak, then we can do that.
Yeah, and I want to be very clear.
Yeah.
If I'm speaking. Yeah, good boy. Yeah, that's what I like to hear. You agree to that, Smoothie? You agree to that?
Get ass up, talking about good boy, nigga. Yes, I agree to it.
Yeah. Okay, you agree to it. Perfect. So what proposition do you disagree with?
Abortion.
We can do the abortion one. Okay. So you want to debate the abortion topic?
That's what I said. You don't gotta regurgitate it.
Okay, no. I just want to make sure, right? We're gonna make sure that everyone here on the recording is clear. And you calm down.
I'm speaking. Shut your bald ass up. What's your proposition on abortion?
The proposition that abortion is immoral. That's the proposition.
Oh, that's the proposition. So what's the argument?
Yeah, abortion is immoral. Oh, okay. So now you're asking for the argument.
Yeah, good job. That's what I'm asking. I accept.
Yeah. Okay. Perfect. So I'll just give an informalized version. I just hold the future like ours position.
Yeah, that's cool that you hold it. I said, what's the argument?
Yeah, I just gave an informalized version of it.
You just said I hold the future like ours position. I said, what's the argument?
Yeah, you know what the future like ours position is. I don't really know how I had to expand on that. Oh, okay. So you don't know what the future like ours position is?
I'm talking, and this nigga not muting. Shut your bald ass up. I'm saying you can say you hold the future like ours position, but it doesn't correlate that abortion is going to be morally impermissible because future like ours is applicable towards the fetus, right? I can say that a fetus holds a future like ours. But why does that mean that abortion is morally impermissible?
Well, oh yeah, it would just follow that it's morally impermissible because that's just going to be the closest explanation to why death is going to be harmful, right? And if this is applicable to the fetus and we're going to say that this fetus is going to be having some form of like a non-subject harm, then we can just say that abortion is going to be prima facie immoral.
That a correlation? Why does that, if the fetus is going to be harmed until that abortion is morally impermissible, why is that a correlation?
It's a correlation because I believe we should mitigate harm.
I don't give a fuck what you believe. I told
Oh, okay. So you don't give a fuck what I believe. Got it.
you're looking autistic already, my nigga. Calm down.
Oh, really?
Why
Really?
is it a correlation? Hold on, big bitch. If I said why is it a correlation, you just said, well, I just think it to be a correlation. B, so how we mitigate it. I don't give a fuck what you mitigate or what you think it is.
Wait.
nigga.
Wait. Do you not think it follows that if I say right that we should mitigate harm, right, and abortion increases harm, that there's no correlation whatsoever in both of these like propositions?
Hold on, I know what you think. I know what you said. You said you can mitigate. We should mitigate harm. I'm saying, sure, we can say, for example, that we should mitigate harms index towards people with sentient experiences. Why does that entail that?
I don't really care. I don't know why you're talking about sentience now. We're shifting to your position.
I'm talking. I said I don't care what you think. You said we should mitigate harm index towards fetuses. I'm asking why does that lead to abortion being morally impermissible, and why does that entail that it's going to be a morally relevant account of harm index towards fetuses because they have no sentience? Why is that?
Wait. Are you presupposing that for something to be morally relevant there has to be sentience?
Question. Why does that entail that if sentience is going to be disqualified?
That's not what I asked. That's not what I asked.
Hello, Infinity. We agreed to the terms and conditions, and this fat ass nigga just keep talking.
Because you're not even engaging with what I said.
I'm trying to talk, and I'm trying to talk. You just keep interjecting. Shut the fuck up, nigga. If I'm saying I asked the question, I ain't presuppose shit, nigga. I said, why does that entail that if a fetus is going to be disqualified as sentience, meaning that this fetus is going to hold like a morally relevant account of harm? Why does that entail that?
Yeah, perfect. And that's why I'm asking. Do you think that sentience is the only thing that qualifies for something? I'm sorry that I'm not done speaking. I'm so sorry. It's like so weird. It's so weird that I'm just not done speaking. It's so weird. So I'm gonna repeat. Calm, sir. Calm down, sir. I'm gonna need you to calm down, sir. Sir, right now you are having like these weird nervous tics, right? I need you to, sir, please calm down. Please calm down. Sir, I'm getting to it, right? You know, I don't understand why you think that, sir, I really don't understand why you're speaking over me. It's really insulting when you're speaking over me. So I'm gonna repeat it again, right? Do you think, sir, perfect. Do you think, right, sir, do you think sentience is the only thing that categorizes something to be morally relevant harm? Yes or no?
No, answer my question.
Sir, so are you not going to answer the question that I've been proposing to you?
I'm not going to be.
Wait. Why do I need to answer the wait. Okay, so I just want to make it very, sir.
If you're saying that if this fetus has a disqualification of sentience, and that entails that abortion is going to be morally impermissible because we're harming the fetus, and I'm asking you, why does that entail that it's going to be a morally relevant account of harm to which the fact that we're morally obligated to sustain the fetus? Why does that entail that? And you're just saying, well, are you presupposing that for something to be morally relevant?
Sir, sir, I'm sorry. I don't think you're not tracking.
I'm not affirming or denying the fact.
Sir, you're not tracking what I said, right? So really you were bringing up sentience. Sir, I'm sorry. So you're bringing up sentience. Sir, stop. Please calm down.
Are you going to give the argument?
Sir.
Give the argument.
Sir, I need you to take a breather, right? Breathe in, breathe out, right? Right? Okay, perfect. So I'm going to continue what I'm saying. You can continue speaking over me, but it's not going to make you look good optically, right? So if I'm giving you a simple, informalized version of the future like ours argument, which is just going to be that deprivation harm is going to be more relevant in the sense that we're depriving a human being of a future of goods that this human organism possesses. And then you ask me, okay, why is this morally relevant if there is no sentience? I've been simply asking you, why is it the case that sentience is the only thing that categorizes for morally relevant harm? If you can't answer this question, I don't know what we're going to do. Because I don't think. So you okay? So just to be clear, you're not saying you're sir. I'm not done. So I just want sir. So just to be clear, you just admitted, right, that sentience isn't necessary for morally relevant harm. Yes or no?
And I actually.
Oh, okay, you can give your answer, right?
Okay, so hold on, just to be clear. I said, why does this qualification of sentience entails that it's going to be a morally relevant account of harm? You said I'm presupposing that this thing sentience is going to be a morally relevant factor for harm to be distributed in a relevant, let's say a morally relevant factor. For example, if this thing has an obligation of sustainability, sentience will have to be met. I'm saying I'm not affirming or denying the fact. I'm simply asking you a question. Why does the disqualification of sentience applicable towards an individual entails that this thing is going to be a morally relevant account of harm insofar that we're morally obligated to sustain the fetus? Like, why does that entail that?
Okay, perfect. So you're agnostic. Okay, cool. So you're agnostic on whether, sentience is going to be the thing that categorizes morally relevant things. Yes or no?
If you take that to be me not affirming or denying the fact, then sure.
Yeah, I mean, you don't think that not taking a yes or no doesn't mean that it's like technically
I
agnostic?
said,
Okay,
yeah, I
cool.
said if you're
Yeah, cool.
if you
So
have to be
so
sure.
to fit your criteria, what do you take it for a theory of harm to be morally relevant?
Okay, I'm asking yours. Why is your theory of harm morally
I
relevant?
look, I have to understand what you're looking for. I have to understand what you're looking for because I can't continue if we can't agree on what we're looking
I
for.
think the harm talk is irrelevant. I think the harm talk is irrelevant. I'm asking for why abortion is morally impermissible insofar that we're
I don't
morally
know what you
obligated.
mean. I don't know what
Yeah,
you
hold
mean
on.
by my
I'm
theory of
saying,
harm being morally relevant. We have to agree on this.
hold on. I'm asking you why is your theory of harm morally relevant? I'm not giving a theory of harm because I don't have a theory of harm. I'm
I
asking you
I'm
why is yours.
perfect. That's beautiful, Smoothie. So I'm if you're saying that why is my theory of harm morally relevant? I'm just trying to understand what you mean by this. I'm unfamiliar with this term.
You're unfamiliar with what morally relevant means? Morally
I'm
relevant just means,
unfamiliar with that.
yeah, morally relevant just means something that matters when deciding what is right or wrong to affect it. So I'm asking you, why is it right or why does that entail that if why is morally relevant applicable towards a said thing? And if so, how do you attribute that? Like how does that entail that a morally relevant, a harm that which you're attributing is gonna be morally relevant?
I didn't understand what you just said. You like gibberated over your words a bit too
I'm
much.
saying how yeah, I'm asking you, why does that said thing, the fetus not having sentience, entails that it's going to be still a morally relevant account of harm index towards it?
So now we're going back to like if it doesn't have sentience, like why is it morally relevant? That's not really explaining to me what morally relevant is. I'm really confused on the term. I need clarification.
Okay, I just explained what morally relevant is. I said
No,
morally relevant.
I told you I didn't understand
Hold
it.
on, hold on, hold on, hold on, hold on. I said I literally gave an example after I gave the definition of morally relevance. I said
No,
morally.
that doesn't
Hold on,
satisfy anything that I'm
hold on.
looking
Yeah, I
for.
said I gave it after I gave the definition. I gave an example after I gave the definition of morally
I don't
relevant.
understand what you're saying.
Hold on, and I said morally relevant just means something that matters when deciding when is right or wrong to affect it.
Okay. Write that down really quick. So we're operating under the same definition. Morally relevant is something that matters when picking if something is right or wrong.
Means something morally relevant means something that matters when deciding what is right or wrong to affect it.
Right
It won't
or
affect the
wrong
harm.
to affect it. Okay. Now, to affect it. When you say affected, are you referring specifically to like a human organism, or are you referring to like, something else? Or I'm unfamiliar with this.
If we're talking about a fetus, if we're talking about in a
Mm-hmm.
fucking abortion, that's obviously indexing it towards a human organism. I don't know why you asked that retarded ass
Oh,
question.
okay. No, I just want to make sure that it's very, clarified, right? So, okay, so it's affecting the human organism, which is the fetus. Okay, perfect. So, um, are you? I'm gonna ask you this. Do you think that like when we use the term affect it, we're specifically saying that they need to like experience it to actually be affected or something, or can we
No, I
just
don't.
say that like, okay,
No,
you don't
I'm not
think that?
saying
Okay,
that. I'm not
perfect,
saying that.
perfect. Okay, so you're now we're going to go back to the original question, which is it the case that my theory of harm, which is just a simple deprivation theory of harm, if it's morally relevant to see if it matters when deciding what is right or wrong to affect the fetus?
Yeah, okay, so it just because I say that sentience or consciousness or experiences, or let's say, for example, awareness isn't necessary for something to affect it, doesn't mean that I take it to be a morally relevant like effect or whatever. I'm simply saying, why is yours going to be a morally relevant effect? I can simply grant the fact that the fetus is being harmed in some type of way, but why does that entail that the harm is going to be reasonability to accept that it's morally impermissible insofar that we're morally obligated?
Oh, okay. So now you're asking for like, moral obligation, right? You're not necessarily asking like what exact something specifically about my theory of harm. You're just asking about moral obligation.
No, I'm saying morally relevance. If we say, for example, harm is going to be morally relevant index versus individual, that's obviously entailing the fact that we're obligated of sustaining the individual to which we're harming.
All right.
So I'm
Yeah,
asking you
yeah,
why.
that's what I asked.
Yeah, I question two things, Pucci, if you're not understanding.
Yeah, well, wait, why would you be questioning two things if I only question one thing?
What the fuck? You think this is your dialogue tree, nigga? You
Yes,
think I
this is my dialogue tree.
hold on.
You're supposed to be doing an internal critique on my position.
My
Yeah.
bad, my bad, Apollo. I'm saying I don't have to ask. I don't have to answer or ask one question because your dumbass asked one question. I'm simply saying, why does this said thing existing entail that it's a moral obligation of sustainability, and why does that entail that the said thing, which is moral relevance of harm, entails that the said thing exists for this fetus? Why does that exist for the fetus? Morally relevance account of harm. You still have yet to answer that question.
Oh, because like we're so unclear on like these terms. So I would just say that my deprivation theory of harm is just going to be morally relevant insofar that it satisfies what is just going to be what majority of intuitions say when we talk about something being harmed by death.
Yeah, what is that?
What is that? Oh, the deprivation of a future of goods.
Yeah, and I can say, for example, the reason to why they say this harm is because it says that you're taking away or depriving a future the continuation of future experiences. So why does that entail that it's going to be the case for a fetus?
Oh, wait, do you think the fetus doesn't fall under that criterion?
No, I think when we talk about the continuation of future experiences, no, the fetus doesn't follow under that criteria because it doesn't have the prerequisite.
Why?
Hold on, because it doesn't have the prerequisites of conscious experiences. When we talk about,
Why does that matter?
hold on. When we talk about conscious experiences, that typically begins at 24 to 25 weeks via the coordinated cortical activity. For that
I don't know. I don't know why this matters.
Reason to why that matters is because when we talk about subjective experiences, it's obviously predicated upon an enabling condition. What do you think the enabling condition for a future experience is to be?
I don't see. I'm not convinced why this like conscious experience thing really matters. Like I thought we were doing an internal critique on my position.
Well, holy shit! You just asked me what if most people intuitions agree to the claim that just entails that provides reasonability to why should we accept the claim to be morally relevant. I'm saying, well, most people would agree upon the terms to which I'm saying by saying simply that people would say that the reason to why it's harmful to the private individual is you're taking away because you're taking away the continuation of future experiences.
The continuation of future experiences don't necessarily need to start at the moment conscious experiences arise. What was that?
I said, what's the argument?
What's the argument for that? What? I mean, you know, the informal version I gave you earlier, man.
That's
I don't know what to tell you.
Hold on. That's you stating the.
Wait. You think restating my old argument is a beg of the question?
Hold on. Chill. That's just you restating the claim. If I ask you why is morally relevant a concept of harm index towards a fetus, and you say, well, because you're depriving the future of a fetus, then that's going to be. And if I tell you, okay, I take it to be the fact that people agree to the intuition that you're depriving the continuation of future experiences from another individual, that's going to be morally relevant. And I ask you for the reason to why yours is morally relevant.
An organism can experience though.
Hold on. And if I ask you to why yours morally relevant, or
I'm so confused. I'm so confused. An organism. That's so weird because an organism can experience though.
I'm trying to make you unconfused. I'm telling you, if your argument is simply saying that, oh yeah, if this trait is applicable towards a fetus, then it seems to be the case that they meet this morally relevance, and I put that into question. Then you ask me, okay, why is sentient or the continuation of sentient experiences more needs a conscious experience or sentient experiences? And I give the criteria, and you say, well, I don't think that to be the case, and I tell you,
no.
Hold on. And I tell you how can something experience something without the prerequisites or without these enabling conditions?
It doesn't. You
say, well, I already explained it via the deprivation of life. That doesn't actually explain why this prerequisite isn't met.
No, calm down. Smoothie, calm down. Look, man. I can just say that like you can value like consciousness all you want, but I can still value the potential for consciousness. I mean, it is true by virtue of what the human organism is that they are going to develop this thing that you quote unquote say that is going to be the thing that is needed to have subjective experiences. Sadly, my argument doesn't necessarily hinge on having to have these subjective. Okay, not necessarily having to be on having these subjective experiences to be experienced. Right? It's just simply the fact that this organism is going to later develop into the later organism, right? That is going to have these things that you so-called value.
Wait, holy shit! I'm not saying that your argument is saying that. I'm never even making you affirm the fact that sentience has to be some type of relevant factor for this thing to be considered.
I don't know. I don't even know what position you're taking then. Like I'm so confused.
I'm pro-choice, and I'm just taking let's say an anthropomorphic position, but I'm not.
I don't know what that means.
Hold on. And I'm not affirming the fact that harm going to exist. I don't do the harm talk. I think that's irrelevant. But I'm simply asking you, why is that said thing, the harm to which you're applying towards a fetus, a morally relevant factor? You're not giving that yet. You keep saying, well, because you're depriving the fetus of future experiences, and I'm asking you, why is that until?
Because Smoothie.
Hold on.
Come on.
And I ask you, hold on, chill. And I ask you, why is that going to be a morally relevant factor to which where we're deciding if it's right or wrong to affect the fetus? You said because
this to affect.
Hold on, chill. And you said because you're depriving the future experiences of this fetus. And I said, well, I take it to be the case that when we're talking about a deprivation to be morally relevant, it's indexed towards the continuation of future experiences. You haven't given me a reason to why consciousness is going to be.
Oh wait.
Hold on.
Look, you haven't given me
any reason to why. You haven't given me any reason to why consciousness is going to be an enabling condition to why we should accept so the continuation of subjective experiences to be indexed towards.
Wait. Listen, Smoothie. Did you not hear when I said that, like, you know, there's going to be like you say that you hold the anthropomorphic whatever that jibber jabber was. That's like really cool, but then you're going to say that like, yeah, you know, usually when people say that there's a wrong maker going on with like you know, killing someone, they usually index it to the continuation of future experiences, which are indexed to consciousness. That's cool and all, but again, I'm just so sorry. Like, it's like that's amazing and all. I can probably like affirm that in a sense, but right, my argument is not going to be defeated with this, right? Because like, look, I take this perspective that this human organism at the moment of conception is the same human organism that has all of these factors. So when you kill a conscious adult human organism, it's equivalent to killing the unconscious, you know, fetus that was in utero, and the same thing, vice versa.
And what's the argument for that?
What's the argument for that? Oh yeah, I just hold like a numerical identity via biological continuity. You know, we
I know
are.
you told it, but I'm saying what's the argument?
Oh, what's the argument for that? Do you want like an informal version or do you want a formal one?
Any version that like helps you with your argument.
Okay. Let me see if I have it in my server. And you can tell me which premises do you disagree with, by the way.
All right.
Hold on. Yeah, I forgot which is my server actually. Oh, here it is. Let's see. Okay. Okay, so just to be clear, we're going to be specifically talking about the numerical identical part, correct? We're not right now talking about like, although the topic is obviously abortion, you know, the thing that's at dispute is the numerical identity. You agree, right?
The numerical identity, sure.
Yeah, okay. So, VC scans. P1. P2. 3.
What's good? Come on.
No, bro. Numerical identical.
You know the Autobot shit you did with Hadrian? Can you do that with me, but like make it some fuck ass emoji?
I can't click P6 and then conclusion 2. Okay. Okay. Tell me which premises you disagree with.
For any organism X, if X exists at a time, and then that's fine at any point in time, A, then the organism still exists. Let's fetus have developed form if F is outside, then still existed. Therefore, it still existed. All right. So what's the argument for P1?
Argument for P1, for any organism if exists at time and does not die at any after time A, then this organism still exists. I don't know what you're asking for an argument for P1. That's a very weird thing to have contentions for, even after you read, P3 and P4. So it would just simply be we can just look. Yeah.
Hold on, chill. No, I haven't read P4 or the other one, P3 or P4 yet. I'm just asking for the argument for P1 because it seems like
you haven't read P3 or P4,
right,
even though I heard you say FS has not died.
Yeah, I did P2. Then I had to repeat.
So FS has not died isn't P2?
I didn't say FS has not died. No, I didn't.
Really? Mm-hmm. Oh, okay.
Okay,
sure.
if you're saying for any organism X, if X exists at a time that does not die at any point in time A. If I'm asking for the argument, I'm just simply asking what does that mean? Like,
but what do you? I mean, I can if you're asking for the argument and you're just asking what it means, sure, I can elaborate on that. But like, if you tell me for an argument, I'm expecting that you want another formalized version for P1. So I can just explain. So we can just say for any organism X, if exists at time A, when we say time A, we can just categorize it as conception and does not die after time A, which in this case is conception. This organism still exists. That's all it's saying. So if John is conceived and time A is conception, and after conception, nothing happens to John, meaning that the organism doesn't cease to exist, then it obviously still exists.
That nothing happens to John, then it seems to be the case that X still exists if nothing happens for it to cease existing.
Can you repeat that?
You're just saying that X exists if nothing happened for it to cease existence. X
exists if it hasn't been put in a state of non-existence. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So then P2 is saying what exactly? Because I don't know the FS shit.
FS is just naming a variable. FS is just going to be the replacement for fetus.
Oh, so let fetus be.
Let FS be the fetus I've developed.
Oh yeah, I did see that shit. Be the fetus I've developed from. If S has not died, then FS still exists. If F has not died, therefore FS still exists. If FS still exists, then either it exists as a proper part or FS a numerically identical organism to me. Okay. Then you said P6 FS does not exist as a proper part. What is a proper part?
Can you repeat that?
What is a proper part?
You're questioning the part that is in P5, correct?
Whatever one says, what is a proper part?
Yeah. So yeah, proper part is just gonna be like when we talk about proper parts specifically, we're just indexing to like mereology. And when we say like proper part, we're just trying to say that like it's going to be like a subset. That's at least how I would define a proper part. Some subset of Jesus
So
fucking Christ. No, something.
So we can agree that a proper part would be a wheel of a car, right?
A proper part would be a wheel of a car, yeah.
Yeah, and you're simply saying that. And what are you leading to that conclusion from that premise? What conclusion?
From conclusion? I'm unfamiliar with this question. What premise is leading?
Yeah. What conclusion is being derived from that premise? If you're saying, for example, if you're saying, for example, that if something, this thing exists as a proper part, which means that this individual exists as a subset of the whole thing, what is the conclusion that is being reached from there? How does that numerically identical entail that a said thing is going to be the case?
Wait, I'm really confused with what you're asking, because if I'm saying that like if SS still exists, then either FX exists as X or Y, right? And then P6 says that it doesn't exist as X, and then it just follows that exists as Y. I'm confused.
I'm asking why does the said thing not exist as a proper part? And you're just saying, well, this said thing doesn't exist. Or you explain what proper part means, and you just haven't explained why the said thing doesn't exist as a proper part.
Okay. So you want me to justify P6, right?
Yeah, that's why I asked.
Oh, okay, perfect. Yeah, so it not existing as a proper part is simply just going to be due to the fact that I believe that an organism is going to be the set of subsets, right? The organism is going to be known as the complete organization of all the, organs or, extensions that come out of it. Like it would be like the heart, lung, arms, and all these things. All of those other things that are contingent on the organism are the proper parts. But the organism itself cannot be a proper part if it is the organization of all of that.
So you're just simply saying that the organism is going to be a power set, and it just means that a set of collection of every possible group, like the set of collection every subset.
Yeah, that's what it means. Like the organism is just going to be the collection of all these things. Yeah.
If I know that you take that to be the case, but I'm asking why does that said thing is going to be the case? If I'm asking you why
I don't understand. What else do you want me to reduce from the fact that I gave an explanation of what an organism is?
History repeats itself.
That's not a repetition. But if I'm saying, for example, why the said thing is not going to exist as a proper part, and you said because I take the said thing to be this part, and then you explain what these parts means, that does not explain why the said thing to what you're explaining is going to be adequately describe the said thing to be what you're explaining, which is a power set.
Yeah, because what I just explained, the organism's a whole. It's just not a part, man.
If
the organism is a whole, it just can't be a part.
Yeah, that's your view. I'm asking why does that said thing is going to be the case? You can say that an organism. You can say that an organism can be a duck, but I'm asking why is an organism a duck? I'm just asking that for that question.
Wait, an organism can be a duck though.
That's an analogy. I didn't know you were that socially inept. I'm saying
that.
I
just want to make it sure we know that an organism can be a duck.
Yeah, I'm glad we agree that an organism can be a duck. I'm glad we agree to obvious things. I'm saying that why is your argument going to be the case? Because I know that you're making a claim by saying this said thing is going to be a power set. I'm asking why does this said thing entail that it's going to be a power set? Because I already understand what a power set is. You already explained to me what it is, but I'm asking why does that said thing meet your criteria? Why does that said thing actually is a power set? Because you just tell me that it is. You telling me that it is doesn't actually mean that it is that.
Okay. Do you agree? Let's see if you agree to this dialogue tree. Do you agree that an organism? Let's see how I word this. So we're gonna use John, right? So if we say that John's organism being a part, would you agree that if I say that, I would technically be saying that John is a part of another thing?
You said what I couldn't hear.
Okay, so we're going to use John's organism. So when we say that John's organism is a part, do you agree or disagree that it's going to be a part of another thing?
That John's organism is a part of another thing. What does that mean?
Okay. Okay. With the car example you gave earlier, you said that we have a car and then we have wheels. We can say that a wheel is a part of the car. That's cool. Like a wheel is a part of the car. Cool. The wheel is a part of something. So when we talk about John's organism, right, do we think it's a part of another thing?
No, when we say for the will example, which is extract, I can say that the will is going to exist dependently or independently as itself, right? I can say that the will is a will, but when you add the will to a car, when you add the will to the car, the will is not going to the will is still going to exist independently from the car. The will is still going to exist as a will. That still goes under the proper parts, right? But I'm saying that if we say, for example, that we take the whole car in totality, the whole car in totality is independently by its like it's itself. So it's still gonna meet the same criteria as a proper part. Like I don't get the
The
disagreement.
whole okay, the thing is like a car can't really be a car without the parts. You agree with that, right? You can't really have like a car without all the things that compose a part. I mean a car.
Yeah, you can't have
Like
a
you're
car
not
of articles. Yeah,
do you think you can have a mhm.
yeah, I just take it to be the case that a car can be a car is just a label towards parts, these indivisible units being conjuncted together.
I don't know what that means.
An indivisible unit.
No,
Just think of
I want you to elaborate on that term, yeah.
just think of something like a mereological nihilist view. Like an indivisible
Yeah.
unit just means
Yeah, but I want you to expand more on that. I can understand what that is, but like I just need to like, know more about this.
more about I thought I just explained it, but I can say that an indivisible unit just means something that cannot be broken into smaller parts. It's the smallest whole.
Something that cannot be broken into smaller parts. Do you have like an argument for that?
That's just a contingent towards yours. You're just providing an equal interpretation.
I mean, I would have to understand. I can probably understand this more via like, an argument.
Yeah, I'm saying that if you give an argument to why yours is going to be like a power set, and I'm saying, well, I don't grant the fact that it's going to be a power set, and you try to go down a dialogue tree. And I say, well, I could just say that the car is just going to be a label, and the weight, these indivisible units is just like, let's say, shaped car-like. It's not actually going to be a car. It's not going to be like a power set. Just like all of these indivisible units being conjuncted together.
I know that you believe that indivisible.
Hold on.
Okay, go ahead.
That's just me. Yeah, that's just me saying that I don't believe the claim to which you're affirming to be true. I'm just saying this can be a possible like interpretation to which we could accept that a car is just a label towards things that we put towards things arranged car-like.
Oh, that's cool. Like I understand the whole thesis between like what you're saying about mereological nihilism, but I just like I can't understand it if you don't give me like look, you can give me like maybe a modus ponens for this, but I understand these things via an argument. I just don't think that like by bringing it up, right, you're going to be able to like convince someone to just say, yeah, I just think they exist as symbols arranged like car wise. That doesn't tell me anything. I know that's what mereological nihilists think, but I need an argument for that.
Yeah, I know, I understand that's what mereological nihilist accepts. I'm saying you gave a claim to say, okay, this is what this said thing is, and I try to put that into question. Then you went on the dialogue tree, and as soon as I affirmed the possible interpretation of what something could be, you say, well, I need an argument for that. But do you agree that only the smallest things exist on their own? Like
Only the smallest things exist on their own.
Yeah, based upon our empirical analysis, like tiny particles cannot be broken down. They cannot be broken down. They cause symbols.
Like when you say tiny particles, are you talking about maybe atoms?
The tiniest particles, like the tiny particles.
Oh, the tiniest particles. I wouldn't really know how to answer that. I mean, I'm pretty sure it's possible that there's going to be an infinite regress on that breaking down.
That's what I said. We have an empirical analysis upon this thing being true.
Okay.
But hold on. But if this thing is going to lead to an infinite regress, and that thing is going to be in a state of potentiality, it's going to be in a state of possibility. It's not going to be in a state of actuality. But we know that there's an actualization of particles actually existing, so we can tell that it's not going to be an infinite regress of these said things becoming smaller and smaller and smaller because the said thing wouldn't exist anymore. It'd be in a state of potentiality. So again, we have an empirical analysis upon the particles. I mean, tiny particles that cannot be broken down any further. We can say that it's logically possible for this thing to be broken down any further, but we have empirical analysis that it cannot.
Oh, okay. Okay, I guess I understand. Well, sadly, I just have to reject this like weird notion of nihilism because I am a universalist. But I would have to type out the argument of why I would reject this. Are you familiar with the special arrangement question?
No. But
okay, I'll type.
Hold on. Can we? Do you disagree or agree with it's not even P1? It's just a question.
That there's going to be a point where like the tiniest of tiniest particles can't be broken down.
Yeah, we have an empirical analysis. Like, do you agree empirically that the tiniest of tiniest particles cannot be broken down any further?
I mean, if you say the tiniest of tiniest particles, I take that it just follows from what you said. So sure.
Yeah. Do you grant the fact based upon empirical verification that there does exist simples, right? Things that are called simples, which means that particles that cannot be broken down any further based upon our empirics.
Articles I can't. Yeah, I still agree with you that the tiniest of tiniest particles can be broken down and we can say those are simples. Yeah.
Okay. Do we agree that things like chairs, trees, people, are just collection of these simples?
Let's see. A collection of these simples. Collection of these simples. What do you mean by that?
Yeah, particles and atoms, like the collection, just like they are not new things. They're just arrangement of parts. Like
they're arrangement of parts. No, I don't understand that.
You don't understand what I'm saying?
No, I don't understand what you're saying.
So when I say, for example, a collection of those simples, you don't understand that part, or you just saying you don't understand when I say that there's a new, they aren't new, they're just arrangement of something.
I just like am very unfamiliar with this way we're wording it because I just take it that this whole like collection of simples is going to at some point presuppose like hold to parthood relationship.
Okay, what I mean by collection of simples, it just means a group or tiny particles or partless things coming together.
Do you take these collection of simples to be parts?
Okay. I take these the collection of simples to be something, an indivisible unit. I already explained this, which is a mereological nihilist view.
Okay, cool. So like that's what you're rejecting. You reject like the thing about parts existing, right? It's just collection of simples.
I'm rejecting this.
Yeah, a collection of indivisible units. If you take an indivisible unit to be a simple, then sure, yeah, it's going to be a collection of simples.
Yeah, well, that's like I don't think. Do you think that like your view of mereological nihilism can account for like how human organisms like exist?
That human organism exists, yeah, they exist as
Yeah,
indivisible. They exist
it
as
exists as
indivisible
a.
units. They exist as indivisible units becoming together, not as parts.
Oh, okay. Wait. A human organism exists as an indivisible unit.
Yeah, they exist as indivisible units coming together. They exist as that
indivisible units coming together. Can you agree that a human organism has parts?
Do I agree that a human organism has parts accessed as an indivisible unit? I mean, sure.
Okay, we agree that they have. Okay, cool. So we can at least agree on that. Hold on, I'm actually.
It doesn't contradict
what?
I said it doesn't contradict what I'm saying because
No.
That.
All right, okay, yeah. That's fine. Hold on. Like if we're talking about mereological nihilism, I have to get you obviously. The thing. Hold on. Special arrangement question. I just don't agree. Like I obviously don't agree with the special arrangement question.
You agreed to the two questions, right? You agreed.
I agreed.
Hold on.
I agree. Listen, I want to clarify. I agreed that assuming what you're listen, I agree that what you were saying about that tiniest, meaning tiniest, it gets to a point where it just stops, right? I said, sure, but then you said, okay, think about the tiniest of tiniest, and I said, look, if we're following this from what you're saying, then sure. I still believe there's an infinite regress, but I said, yeah sure.
I gave the argument to why an infinite regress cannot exist because they say there would not be a state of actuality.
That wasn't an argument.
Hold on. Yeah, I gave a reasoning to why we should accept this thing to not be an infinite regress.
I don't know how that was a reason.
Yeah, I'm going to give the reasoning once again because you're just denying the fact because I gave it and you can't respond to it. I'm saying that the reason. Hold on. I'm trying to tell you. I'm saying the reason to why infinite regress cannot exist because they would be in a state of potentiality, right? Let's say, for example, let's say a gun example. If you tell a person to go shoot another person and it goes on of an infinite amount of chains, that person will never get shot, right? It's in a state of possibility. It's in a state of potentiality of that person getting shot, right? There cannot exist an infinite regress if actuality exists. That would be a contradiction. That'd be a category.
I don't know what that means. I don't know what you mean by like saying that like possibilities can't exist in actuality. I'm really unfamiliar with that usage.
I'm not saying possibilities cannot exist in actuality.
Okay.
I'm saying an infinite regress. If you say that actuality exists or things that actually exist, like say for example particles or atoms, which you agree they exist. If you've claimed the fact that infinite regress, that said things can lead to an infinite regress, that wouldn't make sense. That would be a contradiction. To say that an infinite regress.
Where's the P and not P there?
I'm trying to tell you. If you're saying, for example, that an infinite regress exists while actuality or actual parts exist to the thing to which you're indexing the infinite regress, it'd be a contradiction to say that because nothing would be in a state of actuality. I gave an example by saying
I don't see how that makes sense.
If you tell a person to shoot another person and it goes on to an infinite amount of chain, do you think that person would get shot?
Wait, what was that?
Do you think the person would get shot if it goes down in an infinite amount of chain for you to tell that person that, like you say, for example, individual A, you want to shoot individual A, and you go on telling individual B, individual C, and individual like et cetera into an infinite chain. Do you think that person would actually get shot?
No, because you're just saying it.
Okay. Wait, holy shit. No, it's the reason to why that's the thing is going to be analogous is because it's saying that the person would not get shot because there's going to be an infinite amount of people before that said.
Just saying it.
Amount of people. Okay.
Yeah. Because they're just people saying it.
Yeah. I agree that they are just people saying it, but I'm saying to commit the said action to. Let's say, for example, it's indexed in the hypothetical that they are going to do it if the said action can be done, right? But I'm saying the action cannot be done because there's an infinite amount of people that are telling the other person to do the said action. So one person is telling the other, that person is telling the other, that person is telling the other to an infinite amount of chain. That person is never going to get shot because that's going to keep going on and on and on and on and on again until that person actually gets shot.
Yeah, I don't see how this is actually supporting your view, but
Yeah, wait, do you agree?
no, I don't. No, I just don't understand because I don't see how it follows from your view.
Okay, I explained it multiple times. Okay, Pucci, do you agree
No,
or
it just
disagree?
it doesn't make sense.
Okay, it probably doesn't make sense to you while I explain it 4 times.
No,
But
it actually just doesn't. Does anyone
I'm-
actually understand what it means to say that, like, if you're just saying that I'm gonna shoot person B and then you just say to another person and it continues going on, how that actually follows from the neurological nihilist like perspective?
I'm gonna try to
I
type it out and
mean,
make it simpler.
not
I'm
really.
gonna try to type it out and make it simpler.
He just
Hold
said
on,
it
I'm
was
gonna try to
going
type it
until
out and
they
make
get
it.
shot, meaning it wasn't
I'm
going
gonna try to.
forever,
I'm gonna try to.
I'm gonna hold my lips
Okay,
on
okay.
this.
Explain it better. Explain it better, because I think there was a clear lack of explanatory power here.
Yeah, I'm trying to make it simpler, right? So let's say, for example, time. Where we say, for example, the time is going to be an infinite. Jesus Christ, humans are going to lead to an infinite regression, right? It wouldn't make sense for humans to lead to an infinite regression because that presupposes time is going to be infinite, right? For an infinite amount of people to exist, it seems to be the case that there be an infinite amount of particles or substance that exists inside of the universe, and that substance that exists that is going to be infinite is time, right? If humans are going to regress infinitely, then it seems to be the case that there wouldn't be an actuality of a human for that said infinite chain, because that said it says, for example, that this human A is going to be dependent upon human B. This human B is going to be dependent upon human C, but there's not going to be an actuality of any of those variables that exist because there's not going to be a starting point for the infinity. Infinity doesn't have an end, middle, or starting point. There wouldn't be a starting point for these set indivisible units to be actualized. So therefore, an infinite regression cannot happen if we're talking about the actuality of parts that are indexed to the infinite regression.
Yeah, what the fuck are you saying?
Pucci, I'm gonna say this one more time.
No, it's just like I'm
hold on,
still
hold on.
look. I'm still waiting. Why that? Wait. Stop. No. Listen. Stop. Look. I'm still waiting to see not only how this is going to support your mereological nihilist thesis and not support my mereological universalist thesis, which I still haven't sent. Actually, I'm still waiting for the correlation between this because, like I told you, go ahead, Smoothie.
Because you say you don't understand it for the 15th time after I explained it very simply.
That was not simple. You're just not making sense.
Okay, yeah, I'm making sense. You just don't understand it. I'm saying that there will not be a starting point when we talk about an infinite amount of anything. There will not be a starting point. If there's this is how much simple I can get. There's not a starting point for infinite amount of things. There's no starting, end, or beginning. Starting, end, or middle. I'm saying if there's no starting, end, or middle, then it seems to be the case that there wouldn't be any actuality of parts that you're indexing the infinite regression towards, right? So if you say, for example, that there's an infinite regression of humans, there wouldn't be any starting point, end, or beginning for humans. Humans actually exist inside of reality. So we can determine that there's not going to be an infinite regress because if there was an infinite regress, humans wouldn't exist. Do you understand that?
If there was an infinite regress, humans wouldn't exist. That's what you're saying?
If there was an infinite regress indexed towards that specific substance, yeah, if it's indexed towards humans, then it wouldn't exist. But we're talking about atoms right now. So if it's
okay. So if there was, wait. So if there was an infinite regress of atoms, atoms wouldn't exist.
Yeah, it wouldn't exist at all.
Okay, it wouldn't exist even though they could just like keep decreasing in like size.
No, it
meaning
wouldn't.
That like you keep breaking them down.
There would not be any decrease, increase. There wouldn't be any inclination, declination. There wouldn't be anything. It wouldn't exist.
I don't know. Well, okay. Before I do the monkey boy strategy, look, we have to like clarify this thing. You're saying that like if I'm talking about infinite regress of atoms, right? Supporting the mereological view that I'm holding or the one that you're holding, right? You're saying that it just simply can't seem to exist because there isn't. If you're saying that an infinite regress is indexed to a certain thing, that just means that at one point they didn't exist. Yes or no?
Oh yeah, I'm saying
or they just don't exist.
They don't exist if an infinite regression exists. That's the only time I can break it down simpler than that. Like what it.
I don't know. Wait. And then if by saying that an infinite regress means that something that X can't exist, and you say that it just simply does because infinity doesn't have what? What were the three things you mentioned?
Okay, infinity doesn't have a start, middle, or end. Right? If infinity doesn't have a start, middle, or end, which is analytically true, then it seems to be the case that if you let's say apply infinite regress towards let's say a specific substance, then that substance wouldn't exist because it doesn't have a start, end, or beginning. But if that said thing does exist, which we can verify inside of reality, particles does exist, then we can say that infinite regression is not true because if infinite regression was true, things wouldn't exist.
Okay, yeah. That at least supports like the view that you were mentioning earlier, right? But like the question just goes back to the things that I was mentioning about how this still, at the end of the day, even if I grant you that I agree with you, like right, at one point the tiniest of tiniest particles, right? They can't infinitely regress, right? How would it exactly support your mereological nihilist view when I was actually trying to give you an argument for my view, actually, about mereology. Then we went down this like weird dialogue tree of infinite regress. So, would you like to go back to the conversation about me actually providing the argument for mereological universalism being more plausible than nihilism, or
because it seems like you see the fact that the argument is going to be mereological now, so now you're trying to go back to your argument. But
no, because I just want to make it clear. When we went to talking about mereology, I specifically asked you, I have an argument for mereological universalism, and I did ask you if you know about the special arrangement question. You said no. I said, okay, cool, I can provide you the special arrangement question.
Okay, wait, hold on, Pucci. If you're asking for an argument to why mereological nihilism is going to be true,
wait, that's not what I fucking said.
Hold on. Okay, you literally said, okay, I could just provide this hypothetical or this analogy or this example to why presumably mereological nihilism is not going to be true, because I'm affirming mereological nihilism. It would be redundant for you to give a hypothetical, an analogy, or an example that is not indexed towards the thing to which I'm talking about. So you are talking
No, it wouldn't be redundant to give an argument for mereological universalism being true. That wouldn't be redundant. No. I completely reject that.
Oh, are you saying that you're giving an analogy or hypothetical to affirm your view?
No. I'm giving an argument to affirm my view.
Okay, yeah, an argument to affirm your view. That's why I said argument or hypothetical. So then are we like
No, you said analogy or hypothetical. I just want to make that clear.
Yeah, analogy, hypothetical, argument doesn't matter. But are we done?
No, it does. It pretty much does.
Okay, can you stop doing this Lametta shit? Are we done with this? Are we done questioning my view? Because it seemed like you don't have.
No, wait. No, it's not. Look. When you say we're done questioning your view, we're still talking about this, because you're saying that apparently, like when we're talking about the dispute about numerical identical organism, you were hinging on the proper part thing, right? And I believe that parts exist. You simply were rejecting that idea. And I was going to give you an argument for mereological universalism when we went down the dialogue tree of infinite regress.
No, hold on. Well, I'm saying that if we're not actually questioning my view, then it seems to be the case that we're moving away from my view, because you're saying that you're giving a hypothetical.
Moving, wait, listen. Okay,
hold
go ahead.
on. I literally stopped talking when you told me to hold on. I'm saying that if you are affirming the fact that it's hypothetical or argument is going to provide credence to your view, then it seems to be the case that we're not actually questioning my view anymore. I grant the fact that you gave a mereological universalist argument, and we went down that whole dialogue tree and why this thing is not going to be true. Then we went down the dialogue tree by simply saying, what if I affirm this fact to be true? You went down my questioning and said, well, I agree to this. Then as soon as you found out, okay, I'm agreeing to too many things, I got to affirm my view now. Then we want.
Whoa. Slow down, buddy. Look. I've told you since the beginning, right, that when we were having the dispute about parts, right, that I can give an argument for mereological universalism. My argument for mereological universalism, in the premises, it disputes mereological nihilism. So I'm going to ask it again. Do you actually want me to send you the argument, or are we still going to have this jibber jabber?
Okay, are we going to still go over them? I'm still doing my line of questioning.
What line of question if the argument wasn't even given? The whole questioning has to come from my argument, dude. This is literally crucial. I'm not saying I am doing the line of questioning. I'm saying we are doing the line of questioning. You're asking the questions about my view. You're asking the questions of why this said thing is going to lead to mereological nihilism being true. Repeat that thing.
You're asking the question to why this said thing affirms mereological nihilism being true. And I'm saying we're going down. Wait. I'm saying we're going down my line of questioning. You're questioning my thesis to actually see if the said thing is going to be affirming the fact that mereological nihilism is true. As soon as you agree to two said things to which I asked, you went on. Okay, why can I just affirm mereological universalism? I'm still
no. What the fuck are you saying? I don't understand. Like this, you're actually going fucking schizophrenic. Like, I've told you since the beginning, I have the argument for rejecting your whole idea of nihilism, right? And it talks about both things. And that's why I asked you, right, about the fucking special arrangement question. So I'm going to ask it again. Do you want to hear the argument? Yes or no?
Pucci, I understand that you said that initially, but when we went down the whole dialogue tree, you can keep calling out for your God.
I asked you. No. Look, Smoothie. I asked you if you wanted the argument. Smoothie. I asked you if you wanted the argument, and that's when I even asked you about the special arrangement question.
Chill. I'm saying anyways, you said you gave an argument. You posted this out of VC.
No, I didn't. No. Wait. Stop. No. The argument is apart from that. The argument is apart from that.
Hold on, chill. I'm not saying that the argument talk about right now, but I'm saying that's the argument that you gave, which we were attacking. Then I affirmed the view and you're questioning it. All right, so are you done with questioning my view?
If again the argument that I'm giving for mereological universalism talks about your view, right?
That's a yes or no. That's a yes or no.
No, we're not done because my argument comes from that. That's what I'm at. Holy shit, Smoothie, do you want the fucking argument? Yes or no?
I got more questions to ask you then. Okay. So if we're
No,
saying,
you can't ask me Smoothie. You can't ask me questions if you're not hearing my fucking argument for it.
You talking about, you autist? I'm saying if the questions to which I'm asking or which I'm framing is just going to affirm the fact that mirological nihilism is going to be
no, because my argument is going to reject that, Smoothie.
So of course I'm asking questions to affirm the said position to which I'm affirming. Like if I'm
Smoothie, you need to hear the argument first.
If I'm saying that mirological nihilism is going to be true, and I got to lead you down to these line of questioning to actually
that doesn't fucking follow, nigga. It doesn't fucking follow. Do you want to hear the fucking argument? Yes or fucking no?
I'm giving my argument, you fucking autist.
That's not a fucking argument. You're fucking retarded. I told you since the fucking beginning. I'm gonna make it very fucking clear. I told you since the very shut the fuck up. Shut the fuck up. Shut up. No. Smoothie, this is not what we're gonna fucking do. Smoothie, fucking listen. Smoothie, fucking listen, you fucking ape. Right? If I tell you since the fucking beginning, right, that holy fucking shit, nigga. Like, yo, nigga, mute yourself. Nigga, mute yourself. Mute yourself. Mute yourself. Smoothie, I'm gonna tell you one more time. Smoothie, I'm gonna tell you one more time. Mute yourself. Smoothie, mute yourself. Smoothie, mute yourself right now. Smoothie, mute yourself right now. I'm not fucking done speaking. Mute yourself before I get mad.
I'm asking you,
hurry, dude. Nigga. Nigga. Okay, look, Smoothie. When we talked, and look, we're going back to the why this conversation arose. I still have the argument in the VC Scans channel in the text box. I haven't sent it yet. I had it prepared just for you, Smoothie, right? This conversation came from the part about numerical identity, and you rejected what would be technically P5 and P6. You said, well, why wouldn't it exist as a proper part, right? And then I explained to you that an organism, its being a proper part, just wouldn't make sense since the organism is a whole, a composition of parts. And you reject it, obviously, via mirological nihilism. I completely understand that. And then I asked you, look, I understand you're a mirological nihilist. Do you know what the special arrangement question is? You said no, right? And when I told you, give me a second so I can try to type out an argument that talks about the special arrangement question, right? You went on to talk about like the whole, I entertained your dialogue of like the whole infinite regress thing. So I'm going to re-ask you again. My argument that supports mirological universalism in all contents of the premises, both has mirological universalism included, mirological nihilism included, but it follows in the final conclusion, right, that mirological universalism is a better preferred view to accept than nihilism. So, since I've had this argument rotting in the text box, do you want me to send it? Yes or no? Because the special arrangement question is what is the dispute against nihilism, nigga. Like, if the special arrangement question is the dispute to nihilism, nigga, then why the fuck are you trying to say that I can't send the fucking argument?
Okay, yeah, you can send the argument because you're just ducking my questioning to affirm the position that which I'm giving. Like if I'm affirming a position and you're just saying, well, I'm not gonna answer any more questions because I want to affirm my position because it contradicts your position. You could just give your argument.
What the fuck? Nigga, holy fucking shit. Did you not fucking hear what I just fucking said, nigga? If I fucking told you that's a special arrangement fucking question goes against your fucking view, why are you telling me that it's contradictory?
Nigga, calm your little ass down, nigga. Calm your little ass down. I will punch the fuck out you, bitch. Calm your little ass down. I will grip your fucking head.
You're actually being fucking retarded. You're being fucking retarded. You're being so fucking retarded. No. Look. I'm gonna explain it in retard terms. I'm gonna explain it in drooler terms, okay? Don't make me turn APO. 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 Don't make me turn. All right. That's what we're doing. No, it's perfect. Smoothie is asking for it. Smoothie's asking for me to turn. Oh, okay, wait. I don't need an APO. Perfect. You want me to give the argument? You want me? Okay, perfect. Now, Smoothie. I'm gonna repeat it because this is the thing you said no to. Maybe you looked it up like mid-debate. Do you know what the special arrangement question is?
No, I don't know what it is. Nigga.
Okay, perfect. Listen, calm down. There it is. There's the argument. Special arrangement question is simply saying under what circumstances are there x's arranged f-wise. What we mean by x's, right, is just going to be simples, right, under your view, right? And then f-wise is just going to be the whole thing about, table-wise, chair-wise, right? That's the argument that talks about what I said was mirological nihilism, universalism, and the special arrangement question. How universalism can actually be a more preferred position over nihilism due to the fact that it can satisfactorily answer the special arrangement question, which is known to be one of the most incriminatory questions for a nihilist. So tell me what premise you disagree with, and I will gladly talk about it with you, and we can go over it. Now, don't fucking piss me the fuck off with this gay ass shit that you're fucking doing, because it's actually giving me a fucking headache.
I don't give a fuck what you got, you big head bitch. I'm gonna give you the argument. I'm gonna give you the rebuttal. Sit your little ass down.
Oh, okay. Which premise do you calm the?
Hold on, bitch. Are you saying for P1, not P1, but like the SAQ? Are you saying that a good answer to the SAQ should be clear, fair, and not random? Is that what you're saying? Because very simple.
A good answer to the SAQ must be yes, clear.
Okay.
Has principles, right? And it's not arbitrary. It doesn't go like very out of train. Yes.
Are you saying so you're saying mirological universalism gives a clear rule, correct?
Yes, because mirological universalism gives clear.
Okay. Do you deny the fact that mirological nihilist is not? Do you deny the fact that mirological nihilist gives a clear rule as well? Or are you just saying that one has a more clear rule?
Wait, can you repeat that?
Okay. Are you denying the fact that mirological nihilism has a clear rule, or are you just saying that mirological universalism has a more clear rule than mirological nihilism?
Mirological universalism is more clear than mirological nihilism and can answer the special arrangement question, right? More preferably than the nihilist would. Yes.
Okay. And you're saying that what is this, then the special arrangement question is saying that any groups of things that makes a whole, and that's not the special arrangement. That's what you're saying for that's what you're saying for like one of these premises. I think premise 2.
Yeah, the special arrangement question is under what circumstances is X are the X's arranged F-wise?
Yeah, and you're saying that mirological nihilists cannot answer this question. How?
Mirological nihilists can't provide an answer with explanatory power without unironically presupposing composition.
And how do we wait? What is composition?
Are you? Give me a second, cause I was my fucking god.
Hold on,
what? Okay. Wait. I just want to make it very clear. You're asking me right fucking now what is composition, even though the previous conversations we had, you knew very damn fucking clear what composition is.
No, not under your view. I didn't know what composition was, so I'm asking you.
Nico, what the fuck do you mean under your view? What the fuck are you talking about? Composition is about fucking mereology.
Are you dumb, nigga?
What the fuck are you talking about?
If I'm asking you, what is composition under your view? Because obviously you affirm a different metaphysical standard than I do. You are a mirological universalism. So if I'm a universal.
Wait. I'm actually shaking my dick right now out of the fucking frustration about the retarded shit that you just said. What are you doing?
If you're affirming mirological universalism, I'm saying if you're affirming mirological universalism, are you affirming a different view of composition than mirological nihilists?
Mirological nihilists don't affirm composition, retard.
I'm saying if we do you not think a mirological nihilist affirms?
No, they don't affirm composition. No.
Do you not think?
No, they don't. No, they don't. No, they don't. Because composition. No. Listen. Look, they. Nico, what are you doing?
Affirm the fact that mirological nihilism has an analytical criteria for composition.
What they mean by composition is not what is usually generally accepted. That is not going to be what composition is.
So you grant the fact that mirological nihilism does have an analytical criteria for composition. So when I ask you, what is your definition of composition? Why was you so confused about that question?
Yeah. Okay. Look. Calm down, sir. Look, matter of fact, I'm not going to dispute the whole thing about nihilism, right? You asked me what is composition, but when you said what is composition, it is not wrong for me to say that you're probably talking in a general aspect. But thank you for clarifying, because you're saying what is composition under the universalist view? That's what you're asking, right? Like this is the simple thing, right? Hello?
Yeah, yes, I said what is composition.
Okay. Beautiful. Okay, perfect. So when it comes to mirological universalism, right? What specifically the people that affirm it are going to talk about when it means composition is simply just going to be, so for any non-overlapping x's, and what we mean by x's is going to be parts, right? This is what was brought up in the special arrangement question. For any non-overlapping x's, there is a fusion y such that y is composed of the x's. So I can explain, with an example. So although it sounds unintuitive at first, you're going to understand what it means with this principle. So if we're going to say, right, that I'm standing on top of the Eiffel Tower, the universalist would say that there's a composition of the Eiffel Tower plus me. If I'm standing on what if I'm standing on a hot air if I'm standing inside a hot air balloon, there's a composition there of the hot air balloon and me.
You're just saying there's going to be a composition of the hot air balloon in you. So are you just saying that those parts are going to be interconnected?
Those parts are not. I wouldn't say that I'm like connected in of itself to like the hot air balloon if you're using connected in the general sense.
Yeah,
I'm just saying there's like a composition. Think of it as let's see how I can put it. No, I actually can't come up something off the top of my head. But those examples, actually even the principle, hold on. For any non-overall access. This goes hand in hand with ask you. There is a sun. Let's not use Y. We're gonna use. Fuck. Let's use that. Touch that.
I'm gonna fuck you, Smoothie.
Yo, what the fuck? Okay, so that's the principle or the way we see composition. And then you said, what was the question you say?
Yeah,
if I say,
Yeah, I'm saying, for example, the hot air balloon and the unit, are they going to be interconnected in parts or indivisible units? And you said, well, you gave a confused answer. Is the answer that you gave inside of VC chat? I mean, VC scans?
No, I just restated the principle, but I wanted you to repeat the thing about the hot air balloon.
Yeah. For example, you're saying that if you have some things that don't overlap, then they make up a whole thing together.
I don't understand what that means.
That's what you're saying. And
wait, what?
I
don't understand how that comes to the conclusion that makes a whole wait.
I'm going to tell you.
Okay, wait. I understood. Wait. Okay, yeah. So by saying me plus hot air balloon, that would compose a whole. Yeah, it's like the mirrorlogical fusion, the mirrorlogical sum. Yeah.
So both of those individuals would compose a whole under what view again?
Under mirrorlogical universalism. Yeah.
And how does that make sense?
What do you mean? How does that make sense? It's just it's just the thesis of mirrorlogical universalism.
Yeah, I understand that's the thesis of mirrorlogical universalism. I'm saying, how does that make sense that if there's two individual and let's say there's two specific individuals, and one individual stands on top of another individual, they have like an interconnection of parts. I mean, not parts, but they have an overlap to make a whole thing.
I don't understand what you're saying. Like, actually, you're saying, what does it make sense in accordance to what? Are you asking like, how does it make sense?
Saying, you're saying if you have some things that don't overlap, then they make up a whole thing together. Actually, the question: if I put another specific individual on top of a hot air balloon, would that mean that they would be the whole thing together? Would that be like a whole thing? Both individuals.
They would compose the whole. The whole would be hot air balloon plus individual. Yeah.
Okay, so you're saying it's still going to be two different specific individuals.
I don't know what that means. I would be saying that there's a hole there. I don't know what that means by like two different specific individuals.
You don't know what specific individuals means?
No, I don't know what you're meaning when you say like two specific individuals, because clearly you're trying to make a different. Yeah, that's what I'm unclear on. I don't know if you're trying to make a differentiation when I'm saying that these things, like this sum, like
then the entity would be like a hot air balloon or something.
Is that what you're saying, Smoothie?
Yeah, I'm saying that a specific individual is just a particular or single things of people.
What?
A specific individual. Holy fuck! I'm saying a specific.
I can't understand if you're just like it's just so hard to understand.
I'm saying a specific individuals are particular single things or people, not general kind. Like it's not a general kind of people. So when I say, for example, that you have two different specific individuals, this means you have two people that exist like independent from each other. Like they aren't like you don't even have to provide a dependent or causation relationship. Like dependent specific individuals just means that these are two distinct individuals that aren't dependent upon each other in like the, let's say, colloquial sense.
So do you take it to be the case that like a hot air balloon will fall into
that?
Hold on. Yeah, we could say when we talk about two specific individuals in this case, because we're obviously talking about a hot air balloon, this term substituted with let's say substance or. So when say, for example, there are two different things, there are two specific things, right? Those two different specific things are going to be the hot air balloon in a person.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, the hot air balloon in a person. And then the thing that's in question now is if they're going to be, are they like dependent on each other? You said something about dependency.
Yeah, no, I'm not saying if they're going to be dependent upon each other. I'm saying how would it make sense that these specific things are going to be some type of like interconnection of a whole. Like if
Interconnected as a what?
yeah, if I say for
Yeah,
example there's an individual on top of a hot air balloon, and you're saying they're going to be a whole individual, that's going to be a whole thing. Because
Okay. Look. I think okay. You can correct me if I'm wrong, but the thing is, okay, when it comes to mirrorlogical, like universalism, right? When you're talking about interconnection, like I said, you can correct me. I don't know if you're telling it to me like in a sense that it's like meaningful, in a sense that like when we say like a wheel is interconnected with a car. Is that
when
what
I
you're asking?
when I talk about interconnected, it just means that things that are connected to each other.
Is that not what interconnection is?
I just said when I talk about interconnected just means that things that are connected to each other. Yeah, you asked me what is interconnection, and I explained what interconnection means.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing. That's the thing that's in question when we talk about the hot air balloon plus the person. And you're saying that how are they going to be interconnected, or how they're going to be connected, whatever, interchangeably, if they're two distinct entities? Is that not what you're asking?
And how they're going to be interconnected in so like in reference towards it said in like these specific individuals becoming a whole person or a whole part or a whole thing.
No, it's just a whole. It's just a brute sum of parts. Like it's just a whole. Like we're not when we talk about like a hot air balloon plus a person, we're not talking about it in a way that it has like a function or like some sort of like interaction within each other. We're just going to say that it's just simply going to be a brute sum of these parts that makes up this whole of hot air balloon plus person.
But that's not what I'm saying. I'm not saying that what you're talking about is index towards this individual becoming like this brute sum apart. I'm simply saying that this individual. Are you simply saying that even if there are two specific individuals, I mean two specific things, that entails that even if there are two specific things, there's still going to be a whole part. I mean, there's still going to be a whole object, even if that there are two specific things. Like there are two distinct things.
Yeah, if we're specifically talking about the hot air balloon plus person example, then yeah, they would still be a whole. Correct.
Yeah, I'm asking that. How does that make sense?
Yeah, I just explained it to you that it's not that it's going to make sense in the instance that we're talking about it having a function or some sort of interaction within each other. I'm simply talking about how these two things are as a whole under universalism via the fact that it's going to be a brute, straightforward sum of these quote unquote parts. That's all that I'm saying. I'm not making a claim that there's some sort of like functionality with like mirrorlogical universalism in the sense that it has like an interaction between these two things. I'm just simply saying that these things are a whole in the instance that they're both, like what you said, quote unquote, interconnected.
They're in a whole in the sense that they both are interconnected.
In the sense that you used it earlier, that would be the case. Yes.
Oh, okay. If you're just saying that they're in a whole in the sense that they're interconnected, that doesn't seem to be. I'm thinking that you're saying that there's going to be like a whole object. Is that what you're saying? Because I can accept
whole
the fact
object.
that I can accept the fact that they're going to be an interconnection between those two individuals, right? The parts are going to be intermingling. But I'm saying, did you accept that said thing to be a whole object?
Whole object, and we're still, yeah, it's a whole object, yeah.
Okay, do you think this is denying what I'm saying?
This is denying what I'm saying. I mean, when I take a mirrorlogical whole, if it's a mirrorlogical whole, in a sense, it would be denying the thesis of what mirrorlogical nihilists would be proposing, yeah.
No, because if you're saying, for example, that there's going to be like, there's the interconnection of parts that exists for this individual. And when I'm talking about parts, just term substitutable with like indivisible units. There's like indivisible units that are conjuncted together. Let's say, for example, a chair. There's an indivisible unit that is conjuncted together to be arranged chair-like, and the label chair is just a label for these said things arranged chair-like. So if there's a specific individual that these indivisible units are arranged human-like, and there's a specific individual that these said indivisible units are arranged hot air balloon-like, then there wouldn't be a contradiction to say that these parts or indivisible units are interconnecting. It would just be a contradiction to say that these parts are these indivisible units are connecting so much so that they are categorized as like a whole what is it called? I think you get what I'm talking about, Greg.
No, I don't, because no, I really don't, because I don't see how you believe that like there's no contradiction there. If I'm saying that it's simply going to be the case that like the mirrorlogical universalist says that hot air balloon plus person means that this is going to be a mirrorlogical whole, and you say that there's no contradiction, but I'm just unaware of how that wouldn't be the case.
Okay, we agree that mirrorlogical nihilism just says there only exist smaller things without parts existing.
Mirrorlogical nihilism, to the understanding of what mirrorlogical nihilism is, it's simply just the case that composition just doesn't exist. It's just simples.
Yeah. So yeah, that's why I said it. In an indivisible unit, only the smallest things without parts exist. Now I'm saying, how would it be a contradiction to say that there are two specific individuals or two specific things that exist on top of each other, and those indivisible units are being interconnected together? It wouldn't be categorized.
Because you just agreed. If I earlier said that like the whole line of question you gave me that it's going to be like a whole, right? And I'm saying this whole comes from like a composition, and you agree yourself that nihilists deny composition. I don't understand what's going on.
Okay, yeah, I'm saying that it's not going to be a composition. That's why when you term substitute the word whole or composition, just term substitute about what I'm saying, an indivisible unit. I'm saying that sure, there can exist a conjunction of indivisible units arranged hot air balloon like, and there can exist a conjunction of indivisible units arranged human like, and those arrangement of indivisible units are on top of each other to make a let's say a new unit. But that new unit is not going to be existent as a whole. The new unit is not going to exist as a composition. That new unit, it just exists as indivisible units coming together.
No, that's sadly just not what I'm positing though.
I'm not saying that's what you're positing. I'm saying that's what I'm positing. I'm saying it's not going to be a contradiction.
No, that's fine. That's fine. There wouldn't be. Look, this is the problem, right? This still wouldn't like do anything to like what you're saying. This wouldn't get you around the special arrangement question.
Yeah. Well, holy.
You agree to that, right? It wouldn't get you around the special arrangement question. You agree, right?
What do you think the special arrangement question is saying?
The special arrangement question is simply saying that under what circumstances are X's arranged F-wise? That's what the special arrangement question proposes in simpler terms.
Yeah, if it's a range Fy, so X is going to be a range Fy, is what you're saying, right?
What? When are the X's arranged F-wise? When are the X's arranged table-wise? X's being the particles.
Yeah, this set things is arranged. This set are arranged. This set thing or a chair. What is it called? The indivisible units are arranged chair-like. Again, that isn't a contradiction of our mereological nihilist.
Wait. Did you just say the X's are arranged F-wise? No. What? Repeat that. I don't understand that.
I'm saying under a mereological nihilist, we would say, for example, that an indivisible unit can be arranged however label that is applicable towards. For example, indivisible units can be conjuncted or conjoined together to be arranged chair-like.
Okay. Under what are the circumstances? I don't understand that.
What do you mean? What are the circumstances?
I need a clear explanation. This just seems so vague.
A clear explanation of what? Of what I'm saying?
Of the circumstances for the X's arranged F-wise, yes.
I'm saying that the arrangement, what is it called? Let's say the enabling conditions for this said thing to be true is just that things be coming together. When I say, for example,
so that's the answer. That's your answer. When they become together, that doesn't make sense.
If I say, for example, that there are indivisible units that come together or are arranged let's say chair-like, and I say, for example, the enabling conditions for those indivisible units being conjuncted together to be arranged.
Bro, I'm trying to shut up. I'm trying to listen to this nigga, bro. Please mute this bitch. Please mute this bitch. Oh my fucking god, mute this bitch, bro. Bro, repeat yourself before this like dumb fucking host starts talking, bro. Fucking piss me off.
I'm saying that. Where the fuck did we leave off?
Okay, I asked you under what circumstances are X's arranged F-wise, and you said something about like the X's arranged F-wise when they become together, and I said that's like arbitrary, not clear.
That is. It's not really arbitrary because you're saying that how is these? What is the enabling conditions for this criteria to be met? And I'm saying the enabling conditions for this set criteria to be met, we could simply say if these set things come together to be arranged as a set thing to which we label them as, right? They come together to be labeled as a set thing. So if indivisible units come together to be arranged chair-like, that's just what it means. Like when I say, for example, that indivisible units are arranged chair-like, that the reason for that is because they're coming together, conjuncting together to be arranged as a set label.
Yeah, I still don't think that's like a very clear answer. You just like repeated like the thing. Like if the enabling conditions for F-wise to let's repeat it. The enabling conditions for X's to be arranged F-wise is just when the X's are arranged F-wise, when the thing comes into fruition. That just like seems so arbitrary and vague to say.
Hold on. I'm saying when the reason or the enabling condition for this indivisible unit to be arranged, however the label let's say perceives them as, that's that thing is going to be predicated upon these indivisible units coming together, right? That's not arbitrary. It's simply saying that the reason to why labels are applicable towards indivisible units that are arranged arranged like as a label is because of these indivisible units coming together. That's not arbitrary.
Yeah. Wait, can you repeat that so I can type it in the VC scans? That didn't make sense.
The reason to why or the enabling conditions to why indivisible units are coming together, are arranged chair-like, is because these indivisible units are coming together to be arranged in a set thing to which we apply the label towards. So when we say, for example,
that's what I'm saying. That's what I'm not saying. Reason to why enabling conditions of indivisible units coming together to arrange chair-wise.
I mean, no, hold on. No, hold on. I'm saying the reason to why the indivisible units or the enabling conditions, like let's say, the reason to why the indivisible units are arranged chair-like is because these parts are coming together. That's what I said.
Indivisible units come together to make chair. That's the thing that I'm trying to get across, right? Without even realizing, in some instance, you try to presuppose some sort of mirological view that talks about composition. That's what you're not understanding about the whole problem with the special arrangement question.
Yeah, Pucci. I'm saying there's no contradiction with your view. The only thing to which we're saying that we're disagreeing upon is, let's say, for example, when I'm saying that these indivisible units are coming together to be arranged as the label foresee them to be, and you're saying, well, this said thing is going to be arranged as a whole, right? I'm denying that fact. I don't think this said thing is going to be arranged as a whole, or this said thing is going to be a whole thing. I'm simply saying this said thing is not going to be a whole thing. This said thing is just going to be arranged how this said thing foresee them to be. When we say, for example, that these indivisible units are arranged in this said label or are applicable towards a label, that just means that these indivisible units were coming together for this label to see fit, or for us to put a label on these said things.
That's oh my god, that's what you're not understanding. Look, okay, when it comes back to the argument, you were specifically talking about how like mirological universalism would provide a clear principle non-arbitrary answer that composition always occur. You gave your reason, and I gave my reason, and you said, okay, cool, there's not going to be any contradiction there, but the only thing that we disagree with is the whole thing about wholes existing or like composition existing. Cool. Do you not see that under the views that you're giving, you're indirectly trying to presuppose composition when you talk about parts? Does that not like make sense to you?
No, when we take composition to be, we took it under your semantics. I'm saying that, under your position, the presupposition to what you're making, and saying, well, under this I think is going to be true, and it appeals to mirological universalism. So these specific individuals, or these specific things, if they are placed on top of each other, they're going to be a whole group. That's the presupposition of a mirological universalist argument. And I'm simply saying, well, I don't think they're going to be a whole group. I think they're just indivisible units conjuncting together to be arranged to said thing to which we arrange them as. For example, a hot air balloon or a human. And we conjunct those set arrangement of indivisible units, they would just be categorized as a new label. That wouldn't be a whole group.
Okay, so this is just like a label, and wait, so okay, this is not a label, just a whole group. That's what you just said. It's just a label of how we label like certain items. What?
It's a label of these indivisible units arranging together.
Yeah, wait, look. There's like some weird like dispute here, because like we're not talking about labeling, we're talking about arrangement. These two things are obviously very distinct, Smoothie.
Hold on. Because I'm saying the label is indexed towards when you categorize this said thing to be a group of something. When we say, for example, that this said thing is a group or whole, when we talk about a chair, when you say something is going to be a chair, that already presupposes the view to which you're affirming. That already presupposes that mirological nihilism is going to be true. Because when mirological nihilists would say that a chair doesn't exist, a chair is just a label towards these indivisible units being arranged together.
Wait, okay, but do you not realize that right now what you're going through is just like the way that it's linguistically applicable, and not the fact of like the ontology behind like, you know, how something is arranged chairwise? This is just like a semantic dispute now.
Hold on. I'm not providing a linguistical applicability. I'm saying that I'm saying the presupposition to which a mirological universalist or somebody who doesn't accept mirological nihilism would say is that the things to which we categorize as whole parts, chairs, buses, like kids, humans, etc., that's already under the presupposition that mirological nihilism is false, right? So mirological nihilist doesn't actually affirm these said things are going to exist as a whole part. When we talk about a chair, we just talk about a label that is indexed towards the arrangement of indivisible units.
No,
I'm saying that.
Nigga, I'm gonna start counting down how much
That's
you
not
take
the look. This is the if you still have disagreements with what I'm about to say, we can just post for conclusions. Look, the thing that you're saying like right now, especially when it comes to like, wait, let me read what was the name? Since we categorize this whole price, like kids bus.
Right,
wait, but before I continue, no. What is that? What you just said? Like the kids buses?
I read it. The presupposition that the universalists would say is that these categories as whole parts like kids, buses, and under the presupposition that mirological nihilism is false. When we talk about a chair, we talk about the label, which is arrangement of indivisible units. Yeah.
That's exactly what you just said, bro.
Yeah.
What the fuck? I just said, that's what I said.
Yeah. Okay. So, okay, because okay, that's perfect. That's actually what I was gonna go about. And if you have disagreements with this, we can just go straight up to conclusions, because this shit's been going on. How much has it fucking? What's the fucking timer, Steezy?
35 hours and 65 minutes.
You're no. Like, please stop trolling. What is this guy doing? All right. Did he finally say it? Okay, whatever. Anyway, so like. When you say the presuppositions that the universalists would say is things we categorize as whole parts like kids plus buses is under the presupposition that mereological nihilism is false. When we talk about a chair, we talk about a label, which is an arrangement of individual units. Look, that's cool, but like the whole thing that I'm having a dispute is that specifically when mereological universalists are speaking, they're not speaking linguistically. And you say that it's not a linguistic dispute, but when you think about it, when you talk about labels, that's not ironically what's going down. right? And then the thing that I wanted to say specifically is that if you're going to say that chairs are just labels, it's not going to disprove their existence as a whole. Because like, look, labels are just going to refer to like things that we usually right, the thing usually seen as compositions. If you're going to deny like what the composite objects of like kids plus buses is, then the whole defense of mereological nihilism is just going to be like the things that you were giving. Well, well, look, I just think like simples exist. I just think it doesn't make sense to say that like a hot air balloon plus person is going to exist insofar how I've said it. You said like there was the whole thing about it being like a whole object doesn't really make sense, and that's just a rebuttal, right? But the thing that I'm just saying is that universalism, at least insofar the argument that I sent, is that it is going to be supported in the instance that there's not going to be any sort of like arbitrariness with things that like we just put a label on it. Like when it erupts, that's like the label on it. We're just saying like, look, when it's actually seen as the object, that's like the object it is. Like when the parts connect, that's what the object is going to be.
Mm-hmm.
That's simply all that I had to say.
Yeah, I can give her a vote. I mean, I can do my conclusions now. So when we talk about, you said when mereological universalists aren't speaking about linguistical or like a linguistical application. I'm saying typically I'm not saying it disapproves the existence of these things, the existence of these said things existing inside of reality. I'm saying it disproves the fact that these said things exist as a whole, right? So when I'm saying that a mereological nihilist would say that these indivisible units are conjuncted together to be arranged chair-like, it's not saying that the said thing doesn't exist. It is saying that the name or label doesn't exist with the indivisible units arrangement. So when I say, for example, if we take away the name of the chair, we take away that whole group, we take away the name of the chair and everything, it still seems to exist that arrangement of particles are arranged chair-like, right? Even if we take away the name of the chair, it's still arranged chair-like. I'm simply saying that these indivisible units are arranged so much so that we categorize these said things to be these whole groups, compositions, etc., even though they are not, right? So when we talk about, for example, the hot air balloon and the human on top of the hot air balloon is a whole group, I'm saying no. When we say that these indivisible units are arranged together to look, or arranged together so much so that they look like, let's say, for example, what we categorize a human or what we categorize an air balloon, that is what mereological nihilists would propose, right? And when they come together, they're just indivisible units arranged in the way to which we label them to be so, right? That's all I'm saying.
Okay, so I can go to conclusions.
Yeah, that was conclusions,
Yeah.
right? I thought it was conclusions.
Yeah, that's fine. Okay. So then, although the dispute was, originally about abortion numerically identical to like an organism, we went to dispute about like mereology, right? So my interlocutor here is a mereological nihilist, that I'm a mereological universalist. But the first part of the conversation was simply talking about exactly like the whole thing about the immorality of abortion. So Smoothie gave rebuttals about like, yeah, why is this going to be like morally relevant harm? And there was a dispute for maybe 15-20 minutes about what that exactly means and how exactly. I don't believe that it was going to put a dispute on the position with the counters that possibly were given out. And then I gave the view about numerical identity. Smoothie asked me.
I go next, right? Right.
Wait, you didn't give conclusions?
That was conclusion towards the mereological point. Yeah, it seems like you're giving a conclusion towards the whole debate.
Yeah, that's what I said. If there was whatever, you can go to conclusion after that. Yeah. So the numerical identity argument was given out. There was a dispute with P. Well, there wasn't really a dispute with P1. It was just like a clarification. The only dispute that was there with was how exactly wouldn't the organism be a proper part of it wouldn't be a proper part. And like when I think of proper part, right, and I laid this out, was that a proper part is that you're going to be a part of something. Like I think when we say like part, usually linguistically we talk about connected to something. If we say a proper part of a car, the first thing we're going to think about is most likely going to be a wheel. And I just don't take it that the organism, which is the thing that composes, which is the entirety of like the things that are contained within them, is going to be seen as a proper part. So then the dispute of mereology came up, which how he says that he holds the mereological nihilist as an affirmation. I just negate that with universalism. Although the dispute did go on for probably 40 minutes, it was probably a longer part of the debate. I think there was clear confusion on what it meant for the organism to be a proper part, or what exactly it meant for the organism to be a whole that contains all of these things that an organism has. I don't think I have to explain what an organism has, since I've already explained this. And yeah, that's unironically all I have to bring up, since I think it makes, at least in that point, there was it was very crucial when it came to like the distinction I give up of like, you know, being a proper part of something, or like, you know, being a whole of something. And yeah, that's I'm gonna mute up really quick.
Yeah, I guess that's my cue. When we talk about the numerical identity, I simply put into question of how. I mean, first we talk about morally relevance of harm. Right? He said the fetus is going to be deprived of valuable experiences, and that's going to be a reason to why we're morally obligated to sustainability. I simply put into question why that said thing is going to be a morally relevant account of harm. Right? Why does it being deprived of future experiences entails that it's going to be morally relevant? He then affirms the fact that, well, the reason to why it's morally relevant is because it said fetus has a future experiences to which you're depriving, right? That's just begging the question. I'm asking, and I gave a reason, I gave an intuition. He said intuitively people would think that thing to be the case, and that's explanatory power to why we should believe it. And I said, well, it seems to be the case that the reason to why we would say not abortion, killing is going to be morally impermissible is because you're depriving the individual of continuation of future experiences, right? Which is simply saying that this individual already has subjective experiences, and if you take away this individual with already pre-established subjective experiences, that would be morally bad, or that would be morally harm, or a morally relevant account of harm. He said, well, if the fetus, he thinks that the fetus already holds this enabling condition. I asked him how, and he said, well, because I don't think that the fetus needs sentience for this enabling condition to be established. Right? That doesn't actually answer the question to why the fetus has this said condition. You're just saying, well, I don't think it needs to have, it doesn't need to have the thing to which you're establishing. Then the proper part analogy, right? You said that this said thing is not going to be a proper part. It's going to be a power set. And I gave a contention, right? Under the mere logical nihilist view, we went down a few questions under the dialogue tree. Let me go down my notes because I think I wrote it down. Hold on. Let me find it. If I can't find it in the next 5 seconds, I'm just gonna keep going on. Oh yeah, I asked them about like, do we agree that there are particles that exist empirically that we can like empirically verify that cannot be broken down simpler? He agrees to that claim after like a few, I guess, contingents. He agreed to the claim that there are parts empirically that cannot be broken down any simpler. Then we went on to the infinite regression. He said, well, he thinks that logically there could be an infinite regression of parts that exist. I gave a contention. I said, if an infinite regression exists, then it wouldn't be any actuality of these units to which you're indexing the infinite regression towards, right? When we say, for example, that humans are going to lead to an infinite regression, you're just simply saying that humans wouldn't exist, right? Because infinite already entails there is no starting point, no end, or no middle, right? But obviously humans does exist. So infinite regression doesn't seem to follow, right? The example that I gave was saying that if you gave a hitman to kill another individual, and that hitman gives it to another person, infinitely, that person would not get killed. So that person would just be in a state of potentiality of being killed. Just like all humans, if infinite regression is true, would be in a state of potentiality, right? So not actual. And we went down like the power set and like numerical, mereological nihilist. And I'm simply saying that a mereological nihilist just affirms that there are things that exist inside of the universe that are arranged with these indivisible units to be applicable towards the label to which we perceive them to be, right? So we say, for example, that an indivisible unit is arranged chair-like. It's not actually a chair. That is just a label